here's the Attorney General of the United States a few days ago saying some things that caused a lot of concern, including his claim that people staying in their homes, protecting senior citizens and protecting their loved ones with underlying conditions, that somehow is bad as slavery.
Tell the business people what the rules are, and then let them try to adapt their business to that, and you'll have ingenuity, and people will at least have the freedom to try to earn a living. But you know, putting a national lockdown, stay-at-home orders is like house arrest. It's you know, other than slavery, which was a different kind of restraint, this is the greatest intrusion on civil liberties in American history.
I mean, quite frankly, they're sick. Think about it. Did you ever think, any of you, you'd hear Attorney General say that following the recommendations of the scientific community to save your and other people's lives is equivalent to slavery, people being put in chains? You lost your freedom because he didn't act.
There was a lot to comb through in that bar event the other night. Joining us now to talk about it, NBC News and MSNBC law analyst and editor-in-chief of Lawfare, Benjamin Wittes. He's got a piece out analyzing what Bill Barr said and what it means. Also with us, former U.S. attorney and an MSNBC contributor, Barbara McQuade. She's writing for the Daily Beast on how Barr twists himself into a knot to wreck Justice Department. That's the headline. And New York Times reporter, MSNBC national security analyst Michael Schmidt. He's the author of the new book, Donald Trump versus the United States, Inside the Struggle to Stop the President. Welcome to you all. Before we dig into that Bill Barr event and everything he said, I want to go back to you, Eddie Glaude, because you and I were texting about that comment about slavery from Bill Barr and his casual invocation of slavery as a comparison to lockdowns, to stay-at-home orders to protect people from a pandemic.
Yes, Willie. You know, just really quickly, the little parenthetic phrase, right? Slavery, a different kind of restraint. You talk about Hemingway-like understatement. Slavery, a different kind of restraint. It seems to me that William Barr is searching so desperately to find a way to describe white Americans who refuse to wear masks as victims, that he's reaching for comparisons that not only don't make any sense, but reveal a kind of moral tone deafness that really reveals his character in interesting sorts of ways. That's the first thing. And two, really quickly, is that the idea of liberty and freedom here has become a synonym for selfishness. And I think we need to begin to interrogate what that means, because people are using freedom and liberty as an excuse to just simply be selfish and mean-spirited and endanger people who they just simply don't care about other than themselves. So I think I want to keep those two things going on at the same time, in mind at the same time.
What a precipitous decline. Ben Wittes, it is hard to believe that there were some Washington establishment figures vouching for William Barr when he applied to this job by writing that ridiculous memo, and when he was getting voted upon in the United States Senate. And it seems that, like Donald Trump, we are not surprised, but we at least observe him reaching new depths every week, every month.
Well, I'm afraid to say I was one of the people who was optimistic about Bill Barr when he was nominated, you know, notwithstanding the memo. So let me ask you,
what happened to him, Ben? What happened to him?
I have no idea. I have no idea. This was a very strange speech. Even the plain text of the speech was very strange and would have been very controversial. But then he embellished it with in this Q&A, talking, you know, not just about the COVID restrictions, you know, as the greatest civil liberties violation since slavery, which, of course, not only compares it to slavery, which is incredibly offensive, but, of course, would have come as something of a surprise to the interned Japanese during World War II, the victims of the the Palmer raids, the lynching campaigns in the South. There were, this country has not lacked for substantial civil liberties violations in its history that surely eclipse basic common sense public health matters designed to prevent the spread of a pandemic virus. But he did not stop there, and we should be candid about some of the other things he said. He went on an extended rant about the word narrative, which he claims is a word that means we don't believe in truth anymore. You have your narrative and I have my narrative. The Attorney General of the United States doesn't like that. He dismissed Black Lives Matter protesters as not caring about Black lives, but only wanting political props, by which he means dead Black people, to advance what he termed a larger political agenda. This was kind of the Attorney General as, right-wing social critic and pundit. He also, by the way, described the press as not merely partisan, but much more ignorant than it used to be. So he went off in a lot of different directions here, felt very free to be a kind of freewheeling opinion pundit, and doesn't seem concerned at all that such talk might diminish people's confidence in the U.S. Department of Justice. And that's all before you get to the substance of his prepared remarks.
Well, and of course, it was bizarre coming from an attorney general. You can only think he's hoping to be able to draw large speaking fees in Russia in 2021, or maybe even get a fellowship at one of the universities in Hungary to prop up Orban or other anti-democratic leaders in Europe.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.